Hey everybody, it's Stefan here on Gender Queer Chat. This week we're talking about our gender and how it relates to our mental health. I don't know, I don't really think I have too much to say about it because I really haven't had any diagnosed mental health issues, pretty much ever. I'm a generally pretty happy, chill person. I don't know. It was, I guess, one thing that's interesting is it was really hard for me to decide to go to a therapist in order to get my letter for T. I'm very much a fan of informed consent clinics and not having to go through the psychological community in order to access hormones or, steps in transition. There are definitely people who would benefit from talking to a therapist prior to starting their transition, but, if you're not depressed and not, suffering from any other things other than, your gender issues, I don't think personally that being transgender or gender variant is a mental health issue. I think it's more of a body issue and more of a society issue than it is a mental health issue. And I'm a very strong proponent of taking transsexuality out of the DSM in the next round, out of the DSM-5, and getting rid of the whole gender identity disorder thing. I wanted to start testosterone, and some endocrinologists will start you without a letter, but the ones that were covered by my insurance required that I have a letter from a therapist, so I did go ahead and do the whole therapy thing, but it wasn't really that bad. The therapist that I chose had seen trans guys before and was a part of the queer community and had a pretty good understanding of gender issues and stuff like that. And so honestly, most of it was just me shooting the shit about stuff. Basically, after my first appointment, she's like, yeah, I'll totally write your letter, but we have to do this thing because it's a requirement. So I did see her 4 times over 3 months according to the standards of care, the Harry Benjamin standards of care. You can look it up if you're not familiar with it. Those aren't, binding by law or anything, but it's just the general practice and guidelines that people have adopted. Also in my actual letter that I got from her, it states that I meet the criteria for gender identity disorder. It doesn't actually say that I've been diagnosed with it or that I have it, which I kind of like. So it was kind of vague enough that I could, get what I needed to get out of the medical community, but I also feel confident that, even though I meet those criteria, it's kind of worded in a way that's kind of, not necessarily labeling me as that, because I don't think that it should even be a thing, so, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I did that whole thing, but other than that, I haven't gone to counseling except when my parents divorced when I was in 8th grade. I went to counseling for a couple weeks, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. I don't know. Yeah. So, not really sure what else to say. I mean, being genderqueer is hard, and there's parts of it that, make me anxious or, confused or, whatever, but I don't consider that I have any sort of, mental health issues. or really, like, any serious problem, related to my mental health or my gender identity or how those two things relate. So, yeah, like, other than the fact, like, if you just, like, if you take gender out of my life, altogether, like, I'm pretty much, like, the sanest person that I know. And, I don't know, I'm pretty stable and, resilient and, just kind of take things as they go and have a, really good outlook on life. So, and I don't think that my gender identity really, goes against any of that. So, alright, I guess that's it for now, and I will talk to you guys later. Alright.